Hello everybody, and today I'm reviewing a novel, that being Kenobi, written by John Jackson Miller. So I always wanted to review this book ever since I bought it at the mall a year and a half ago. I think it's time we talk about it. So this takes place in the Legends timeline of Star Wars, but hey, we can still enjoy it whether it's part of the new canon or Legends. Still Star Wars at the end of the day, and it takes place about, I think, a few months after Revenge of the Sith. The prelude opens with Obi-Wan at a bar delivering Luke Skywalker to Uncle Owen and Peru. We basically see what he did before. But the story mainly is about these farmers who are at war with these Tusken Raiders. And that's where Obi-Wan comes in, who's only known as Ben. And the people there are suspicious of him because of how mysterious Ben is. And I like that part of the story because, Obi-Wan's very mysterious, and he was referred to as a crazy hermit. And it shows in this book how he became that hermit. And he meets this farmer named Alina, who has a son and daughter named Jeb and Callie. But the main villain of this book is a farmer named Oren Gall, who wants to make water vaporizers, but the way he's doing it is he's embezzling his business, and he started this fund called the Settler's Call that is meant to take out the Tusken Raiders whenever they attack. But after meeting Obi-Wan, it appears that the Tuskens start to attack various their huts, and they get into war, and it leads to Obi-Wan helping them out a little. He mainly helps out Alina. But as this is going on, Alina is a little suspicious about Obi-Wan. And they do figure out his last name, though, because he does these various meditations. The best part in this book are the meditations, where Obi-Wan meditates and is trying to communicate with Qui-Gon Jinn, but he just can't. He's just kind of reflecting. And we get references to, Satine, we get references to Anakin, and various other stuff. It's very nice. I could just picture James Earl Taylor voicing Obi-Wan in this book. It's that cool. But as this is going on, we meet the Tusken war leader, York, who turns out, we find out that we thought she was the villain of the Tuskens, but it turns out it was Oren Gall, who's using his Settlers Fund to attack more Tuskens and attack random people who don't support his cause. He attacks various farmers and disguised as Tuskens. And once Obi-Wan figures this out after Jeb gets kidnapped, because he's trying to risk a lot of things because he's bored of his farm life. And Obi-Wan manages to save him, but he finds out what's really going on. He tells Alina what's going on. And Alina always been suspicious about Oren because he tried to marry her. And he even tried to go to her once he learned that he's in a bunch of debt because of Jabba the Hutt. And one thing we do notice about this is Jabba the Hutt is not in this book, but we see someone that refers to himself as Jabba, but it isn't Jabba. And apparently in the EU, before the Returns of Jedi, there was this one comic that had Jabba the Hutt, but he looked completely different. But apparently in this book, it explains that. And I saw Star Wars Explained make a video on that topic, so it's a nice way to fill into the confusion, I guess, in the EU. And people complain about continuity errors in the new canon, but look, even Legends had it. But anyway, this isn't me trying to nitpick it. It's just I just felt like saying that. But anyway, Obi-Wan hatches a plan because Oren is now after Obi-Wan because he thinks he's involved with the Tuskens, and it leads to the Tuskens and Oren going to war, and it leads to this speeder bike chase, and Obi-Wan is just trolling Oren, but he ends up finding Obi-Wan, and he ends up Obi-Wan keeps telling Oren to turn back, but Oren won't listen, and his hostileness is what led to his downfall because one of his family members dies. The son dies after a Tusken attacks, after kidnapping Alina, after he's thinking she's involved. And Obi-Wan ends up is forced to fight a crate dragon. And he is forced to use his lightsaber to save a Tusken little girl and Orin, I guess. And he ends up slaying the beast. And Orin threatens to tell the Empire, because he learned about the Empire in the Jedi through a HoloNet. And Obi-Wan says he won't. And he was right, because once Orin finds out his son died, he tries to take his revenge out on Obi-Wan and York, but he ends up falling off a cliff in his broken land speeder because of Obi-Wan's trap. And he ends up getting paralyzed and is forced to work as a Tusken slave. And it's like a big karma for Oren Gall, who ends up being the villain the whole time. And it turns out Alina is forced to leave because of Oren, because she'll go after him. And we do get this backstory where Alina was married and she was going to go to university, but she turned it all down to run her husband's shop on Tatooine. But after she sold it, she decided to turn her life with her kids, and they end up going on a transport with Obi-Wan's help. And she almost finds out Obi-Wan's a Jedi, and she finds out that he's been lying this whole time. But she tries to offer Obi-Wan to come along with her, but he doesn't, because we know why, because he has to protect Luke. But she ends up going, and she fades off into the stars. She did have feelings for Obi-Wan, but at least she got to pursue her dream with her kids, and they go off on a transport. And Obi-Wan reflects, heading home, as he sees Luke Skywalker with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. So the Kenobi book was easily one of the best books. John Jackson Miller's writing was really good. My only issue with the book is, I felt like they didn't do too much for Obi-Wan. They probably did that because of continuity. But I think the best parts are, like I said, with Obi-Wan being mysterious and, the meditation scenes. The plot twist of the villains was pretty good. I thought Darth Vader would be in this book, but he's not. He's just mentioned. But overall, this book is a 10 out of 10 for me. So if I read other Star Wars novels, I would love to talk about them on this channel. I think the next book I'd like to read is Darth Vader, The Rise of the Dark Lord, or Brotherhood, which is in the new canon. But please, check out Kenobi. It's a really great book. So that being said, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you always.